Hello and welcome to It's a Wild, 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 Wild Mount. I'm Mr. DM, and with me are my fabulous players. Hello, fabulous players.
Hello.
So we are going to get through some announcements, and then once announcements are done, we will get to the game. So, first announcement. Just as a reminder, we did talk about a little bit about it at the end of last game, but just as a reminder, we will not have a game on next Thursday. So next Thursday, we will not have a Wild Mount game, but we will be back the following week. So just to remind you all, I'll try to do a reminder at the end of the stream again, but we will not be streaming and playing next Thursday. Second announcement, channel points. So you can use your channel points to buy inspiration for the players. You can actually get up to 3 per session. You can give out three inspirations per session. You can determine whether an individual gets that inspiration or the group gets it. If you determine that the group is to get an inspiration, they will decide amongst themselves who actually uses it during a time where it might be needed. If you're feeling a little randy and you want to fuck with them, you can give me inspiration. It's a little more expensive because you are affecting the DM in a way that may help or hinder the group depending on the situation. But you can only do that once per session. So use your channel points and use them wisely. And any inspirations that are not used by the end of the session will be refunded back to you. No problem. Third announcement, merchandising. So I am once again repping some of the merchandise here. This is one of There Is No Wizard Mafia t-shirts. I am also, of course, with the wonderful mugs. Look at that. Just amazing quality, amazing merch. I put a mug in front of my face. Of course, I've had a sip. So once again, it is just our way to kind of give back for all the support that we've been shown. It is high quality stuff. Again, I can't speak enough about how amazing the quality is of the merchandise. And if you are getting it from our merch store, if you're specifically getting this merch from our merch store and you are subscribed to us here on Twitch, if you are tier 1 subscriber, you get 5% off. If you're tier 2, 10%, and you're tier 3, you are 15%. You get 15% off. So make sure that when you do go to the merch store, you are logged in with your Twitch account so you can take advantage of the sweet discounts. If you are not interested in the merch that you see in the merch store, but still would like to support us in some way, check us out on Patreon. On Patreon, we have a bunch of different tiers that you could use, be a part of and support in that way. And every 3 months for a whole year, depending on which tier you subscribe to, you will get gifts. And those gifts come automatically every 3 months. And those are exclusive items that you can't get anywhere. You can't get them in the merch store. We don't use them in giveaways as of yet. But you definitely get unique items there. All again, a way for us to give back to you, to thank you for supporting us and giving to us. So we hope that's something that you're interested in. But again, I will continue to say it. The support that you give just by watching, just by being here is more than enough. Anything else that you give us is kind of sprinkles on top of the cherry, on top of the pie. So thank you. We do appreciate and love you all for their support. And as far as announcements go, I believe that's be it. So with that, let's get back into our game. So, last session, very interesting session, you all began making your way back to the Tri-Spires to reconvene at Leopold's tower and trying to basically figure out your next steps after taking out a very interesting corrupt Crownsguard who turned out not to be quite human or any other race that you could think of, something fiendish in nature. But upon making your way to the Tri-Spires, you heard a strange yet familiar voice calling out, not realizing what that might mean until portals began to open up, whereupon kobold after kobold after kobold began swarming out of these portals, coming for all of you. Now, thankfully, during this attack, you were able to defend yourselves, but at the point where it seemed that you may be outnumbered, it's not Norman, but the golem that you normally would use to teleport yourselves to the tower that was normally positioned on Leopold's property, all of a sudden appeared with Maya on its shoulder, and basically helped you to escape the situation. Upon escaping from the actual Tri-Spire area after Sora being falling in battle, as well as Jarina falling in battle, thankfully all of you made your way out of the immediate danger. But unfortunately, upon escaping, you did see that more portals began opening up around your escape route. And kobolds seem to be kind of swarming this whole area, including the Penta Market. The golem led you to safety to a place close to the western outer steads, whereupon, for the second time that day, went barreling through a wall after a number of attempts to do so, and bringing you to the other side of this wall, leaving you on the outskirts of the actual city of Zadash. And that's currently where you're at. So as you begin looking around, you realize that this is a somewhat familiar area, where you did do a favor for Leopold in this area, specifically going into a dungeon of sorts. But it does seem that since that time that others have discovered the secret of this area, whereas Leopold was trying to keep it secret for until he got what he wanted out of it. And there is clearly signs of excavation in this whole area. Where you currently are on the other side of the wall, it's, there's a number of trees and brush, but where the excavation actually begins, you can actually see what looks to be a large chasm that is kind of surrounding this area. You're not sure if it was dug out, if it fell out, but it is probably about 30 to 40 feet wide, and you can't really see how deep it goes unless you decide to investigate it. But currently where you're standing, and where the golem is just kind of standing there very still, the blue light kind of pulsing underneath the cracks of its armor. It's just kind of standing there unmoving. Sora is still unconscious on the ground, but not bleeding out thanks to Jarina. But that is currently what is happening. So at this point in time, the golem is very still, and you can see that its armor, for the most part, just has slight scratches, no real damage. The only real damage you can see on this golem currently are these large metal spikes that when you first encountered this golem, it did not have, and Leopold added later due to none of you being afraid of it. But these iron spikes are actually, some of them are bent, some of them are look like they're ready to fall off, like the welding has come loose. But the armor underneath, the actual body of the golem itself, doesn't seem to have many scratches or nicks or cuts or anything. So that's currently the situation. Is there anything that you want to do, like discuss before we move forward?
Yes. I want to take Leah to the side, and I want to propose that maybe we send you in to either intercept Kara or the gentleman to have them meet us to give them the money. And just stress that these portal situations may be because we're present in the city.
Sure, just tell me where I need to go, because I hadn't met Kara, just the gentleman.
Kara usually found us, really, so I would probably just go to the bar that we met the gentleman in, I guess, because that's where we were supposed to go anyway.
I can do that, no problem.
I just feel like you're the sneakiest out of everybody, and if we all go, we're more than likely gonna get spotted and probably intercept those kobolds again.
Sure, no problem. You want me to go now, or what's the plan?
Let's let the group know first and see if now is a good time, or if we should just wait until nightfall.
Okay.
All right. As you kind of finish this conversation, you watch as the golem, for the first time since busting through the wall, actually begins to move. And it kind of like turns towards your group, and it lifts its hand and puts it to the side of its chest. And you just watch as it literally just rips open the front of his chest. There's no hinge, there's no hatch or anything. You just hear as it is just pulling and wrenching metal away from its chest. And as it does, there's now this just like gaping, there's this just gaping hole in the chest, and you can see like this light, like the blue light in there, and it's just kind of like pulsing slightly. And after a moment, and it's just holding like the wrenched metal in its hand, its other hand, and you're just kind of looking at it very, very like odd. And then all of a sudden, you do see apparate inside the chest this kind of translucent head of Leopold that's just now kind of like looking at all of you.
Hey, you kids okay?
Yeah.
Wolf Rowan wags her tail and runs over to him.
Yeah, good crazy druid lady. Very, very nice.
A bit shooken up, and I guess traumatized from wherever the fuck we're in the portals, but I think we're all alright.
Alright, those are kobolds, in case you didn't know.
No, I meant, what were those giant hands, though?
Well, that's interesting. Listen, so we don't have a lot of time, so I'm just gonna get down to the shit. Alright, so the last couple of days, I've been looking to those crazy red lights and the earthquakes that happened. Turns out somebody's been messing with what I call dimensional membranes. These membranes are what separates the planes, and during certain times of the year, they tend to be weakened. We're not in any of those times. So it was a little strange, which is why I was looking into it. I wasn't going to bother really, but somebody's messing with it, and it was actually messing with some of my own experiments. So I decided I was going to look into it. And just when I was making some headway, 6 of those portals opened up right in front of this big boy here.
And just so you, like, I'm making hand motions and stuff. There's Leopold's only ahead. Like, he's talking to you, he's only ahead.
So, you know, so these portals open up, and you know what, you guys keep sometimes accidentally calling him Norman. It's not Norman. Norman's with me right now. But this is, you know what, it's a Norman facsimile that you use to teleport. You know what, we're just gonna call it Millie. This is Millie, all right? So the portals opened up in front of Millie, and dozens of these little fucking kobolds came out. And then this big self-important voice says, "I know you are harboring the idiots I'm looking for. Turn them over to me now." And clearly, you know, again, you know I love you guys, but clearly he was talking about you kids. So I very kindly tell the voice in a slightly louder voice to go fuck themselves. Millie made pretty short work out of the kobolds, and then I closed the portals because, you know, that's just not acceptable. But if that wasn't fucking enough, not like 2 minutes later, I get visited by the Volstruckers. Okay? I don't know if you know who they are.
I do.
Oh, you do? Well,
I have to.
all right, sure. But for the rest of you who might not know, that's the Assembly's not so secret assassin police. Sometimes you might know them better as Scourgers. Well, anyway, they're just a royal pain in my ass. So immediately they start demanding that I let them into my tower and answer questions regarding all of these portals opening up. And I asked them, "Do you really think I had something to do with that?" And they clearly thought that I did. So, you know, they responded and they got more insistent that they should be let into the tower. So I politely tell them that they can go fuck themselves, which they're not used to hearing. I'd be the first person to tell you, they're not very used to hearing that. So they were just about to mix it up with Millie here, and a dozen more portals opened up, and more of these little fuckers poured out. So not only do I got weird portal douche demanding you guys, but now it looks like I opened up the portals on these fucking Scourgers. So I'm in a bit of a pickle, and it's probably time that I take a little bit of a vacation. So, you know, with everything going on, all the craziness happening, I made sure that Maya got a little bag of goodies to give to you guys. And then I sent her out to Millie, and then Millie I sent out to find you guys. I didn't expect to see you running towards the portals, but then I realized it was you guys. So I was like, all right, Millie, you know, go help them. And I got a little more involved than I should have because I really need to, you know, get the hell out of Zadash. And kind of, so here we are. Now, in the bag, there are 2 scrolls. All right? One is a letter of introduction to my nephew in Rexington. Now, I believe you kind of know a little bit about him. He's like this big, uppity paladin guy over in Rexington. We're not exactly on the best of terms, but we're family. He knows what that means. So it explains who you are, that you're part of the family, all that good stuff. All right? Inside that one is also the original scroll that you gave to me from when you came from Trostenwald. So you have both of them, but they're in that one scroll. And if you look at it, it's got a little bit. you can tell which one it is.
And if you actually look at the scroll, like right above the wax seal, you can see it says it's just very small letters. It says RX.
At a game, DM?
Yes.
Where's Spot?
Okay, can you give me a minute?
I'm just asking.
We're getting to that.
The other scroll is kind of it's kind of like the get out of shit scroll that you need. If you've got no place else to go and you need help and you can't trust anybody, find a Cobalt Soul library or somebody from a monk from the Cobalt Soul, and you give them that's the other scroll. It explains everything to a point, in that they should help you. But I'm telling you right now, only use it in an emergency. Don't be like, oh, you know what? I'm tired. There's no place to go. Let's go to the Cobalt Soul. Don't do that shit. Use it in emergency only.
So at this point, the golem kind of like spins around, and the translucent head of Leopold just kind of looks down and sees Sora's unconscious body, just kind of like laying there.
Well, she looks like she's breathing, so I guess she's gonna be all right. You can let her know I got her dog. Now, I would have sent the dog along, but considering that the Crown's Guard and the Scourgers are out in the streets, like often the craziest shit that's going on, I didn't think a dire wolf running through the streets would have been pretty safe. So she's gonna stick with me, and I'll take good care of her. She'll be fine. Just let Laura know she'll be perfectly fine. But the moment that I can actually reach out to you all again and get her to you, I will. But she's gonna be on a little vacation with me for a while. Honestly, like the way this works, any minute now we're gonna lose connection. Millie's just gonna fall apart. Don't worry about it. It's normal. I'm the only thing keeping Millie together. But I gotta take the tower someplace quiet until this all blows over. All of you need to figure out who the hell's trying to find you and stay the fuck out of their way. All right? They used a lot of arcane energy opening those portals up. Considering that the freaking whole city of Zadash is magically protected from shit like this. Okay, so I can tell you right now, I can feel the portals already closed. Most of them are closed down. So whatever came out of the portals, they're probably just mopping them up right now. And kobolds are a fucking dime a dozen. They breed like rabbits. So they're cleaning them up. So it should be okay. You're gonna probably have some time, but I'm not going to say you got a lot of time. They're going to be around inspecting all of the damage and closing up all of the, like the walls that I broke through, which, by the way, I really didn't have to break through the walls, but I knew I was going to fuck with them. So, just a little something extra, a little, goodbye, fuck you from Leo, like you do. Yeah, so if you got stuff to take care of in the city, I'm gonna tell you right now, they're gonna be really busy for probably at least the next 24 to 48 hours, if I estimate, the way they do this shit. Just trying to figure out everything, take care of the wounded, close up the damages, refortify magics and stuff. So, honestly speaking, take care of what you got to take care of. This hole is not going to be here probably by tomorrow morning. So, if you want to use it like tonight and then sneak out through the same hole, you might be able to do that. I don't know. But take care of what you got to take care of, and then get the fuck out of here. That's best advice I can give you. Before we lose connection, anybody got any questions?
How do we contact you again?
You don't. I do. Well, unless
Yes, sir.
I mean, kiddo, you got you got the whole God thing going on, right? So I know clerics are able to use their magics from their gods to talk to each other. Like I use it all the time when I got sending stones that do shit like that. But I don't know if you could do it yet, but you should be able to do something like that pretty soon.
Wait, I could do that?
Don't you? Do you talk to your god or something? Like I know clerics talk to their gods, and their gods talk to them, and they go, "Oh, you can do this weird shit now. You don't have to study like Leopold does." I don't know what they say. I'm assuming that's what God said to you.
I'll be honest, Leo. It chose me. I didn't choose it, so I don't know a lot of things. But I guess I'll try talking to her later.
Yeah, all right. So I could tell you at the very least, yeah, you should, if you're not able to yet, pretty soon you should be able to use a message spell. That you can, if you get that, you'll be able to contact me anywhere. So, but until that time, don't call me. I'll call you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else?
I materialize as Rowan,
Okay.
and I thank Leo for his help, and I tell him that I believe the people behind the portals are the people who kidnapped his cousin, Bertrand.
You just watch as he kind of looks at you, cocks his head slightly, and kind of nods. And you can now start to see the glow in the golem itself is beginning to kind of almost like starts to fizzle, and the head is beginning to kind of dissipate and reappear.
All right. Well, look, I'll tell you what I found out. I said I was making some headway. Before I got rudely interrupted. But those portals were opening up from either the plane of elemental fire or somewhere in the nine hells. It's one of the two. I couldn't narrow it down. But like I said, it's something. So just be careful. And if they are the fuckers that fucked with my family, they'll pay. They will pay. What is it, kiddo?
Out of game, do I remember what the creature specifically said about the dimension during the Halloween event?
Make an intelligence check to see if you can remember.
Can I also try to see if I can remember the voice that was echoing?
That would be more of an insight check.
Okay.
So, Galen, you can roll an insight check. Jarina, what'd you get on your intelligence check?
17.
17. Do you recall that the portal that you saw was supposed to go to one place, and somehow during that whole debacle of you fighting and destroying those large crystals, it changed the color of the portal and began sucking some of them in. You don't recall like where it was supposed to go, and you definitely don't know where it wound up going. But you do know that it didn't go to the intended place it was supposed to be.
Got it.
But now that you're thinking about it, these portals were exactly that same red color that you saw towards the end of the destruction of that castle. Galen, what'd you get on your insight check?
It's okay, guys. I'll give us a good lead. Natural 1.
Natural 1. Jesus Christ, you have no idea. Like, you're just like, God, that it sounds, that voice sounded so familiar. Oh my God, was it one of the Von Scotts? Like, is Leopold's family fucking with him? Holy shit! And right now at this point, you're just like, you're just like everybody you've met in the last year is just running through your head right now, and you can't put a name with the voice yet.
Top 10 best investigator right here.
So at this point in time, you actually start to see the golem begin to kind of shudder, and the light is now dimming.
Bye, Leopold.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So it looks like going now. So, be good. Safe.
Safe travels.
Wipe your ass.
And then you watch as the light disappears. Leopold's head immediately vanishes, and the golem standing in front of you begins to shake and shudder, and you just watch as pieces of it begin to fall away until it is just a pile. It just looks like a pile of armor. You are now around this pile of armor. Sora still unconscious at this point, kind of having a nice little sleep. But the rest of you are now just kind of standing around. What do you want to do?
I want to heal Sora, and because she's at 0 health, my circle of mortality, I'm doing a healing word at level 2, so that's 10 HP.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Sora, you come to consciousness. You're on the ground. You are in a unfamiliar place, and there is a pile of armor, a very large pile of armor, just right next to you on the ground, and you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, as I get up, I just kind of shake my head. Like, what the fuck? Last thing I remember. Oh.
I fill her in.
Okay.
Well, at least I know Spot's all right. Good call on taking her with him because, yeah, dire wolf.
So, I guess we're heading north.
We still have unfinished business here in the city.
Yeah, I think the Myriad have more important things to worry about right now.
Let's not
No,
fuck them
I think-
over.
I think we need to go and get that business over and done with. Otherwise, it'll haunt us for the rest of our travels.
I'm a
Agreed.
little wary about all of us going back into the city after all of that, but because he does want us to be together to complete this task, then we should be on our way together.
Yeah, we'll just try and do this as quick as possible.
Should
Okay.
we wait till nightfall?
Oh
I
no,
don't
the
think
sun's
we
coming
have
up.
enough time. We should do this now.
Let's get it over with.
Wait, what time of day is it again?
Right now, it's really late. It is probably, let's see, I'm just trying to recall. because you finished up at the Cobalt Soul
And it was already
around.
late.
Yeah, it was like kind of like 11-ish midnight. So at this point in time, it's probably going on like 1 o'clock in the morning.
We should do this now.
I thought they let us go at sunrise, and the portal started opening early in the morning.
Oh
And
no,
when people,
that's right. It's closer to dawn. The sun is not completely up in the sky yet. The sun is still rising. But yeah, it's more. Thank you for the reminder. It's more like 4:35ish in the morning.
I would suggest that we just get this over and done with. But that's just my suggestion.
I agree.
yeah, let's do.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go to the nip.
Can we go stealthily?
Even if we tried, I doubt we'll make much success.
All right,
Let's
normal
just
it
go.
is.
Well, the city's still in chaos, so let's go do it now.
Okay.
On we go.
All right. So you begin your trek back through the wall, which again, it's not super difficult considering that there is a golem-sized hole in the wall. And you as you're passing through this wall is like 6 feet thick. It is a thick ass wall. And the fact that this golem it took like 3 tries for this golem to break through tells you a lot about the strength of that golem. But you begin making your way back through the wall. You are now back in the streets of Zadash. And as you begin to look around, you can still hear like shouting in the distance. Not so much screams, but more shouting. You don't see a lot of people in the streets. There is the occasional person who seems to be like rushing to like either get indoors. And there are people who are like sticking their heads out of their windows on occasion. So there's not like a strong presence of people, but there is definitely people know something has gone down, even if they haven't witnessed it personally. And now you're starting to get gawkers. You're starting to get like people, like unfortunately, like if there's a car accident out in your street, and then immediately the neighbors that you've never seen before begin pouring out of their houses and just kind of looking around, not really getting involved, but just trying to see what's happening. It's kind of that vibe. So people aren't really paying attention to your group as you kind of make your way through the streets. They are definitely kind of talking with each other, trying to find out what's happening. Some people are just, you can see some people are talking, very hurriedly and very rushed. Others just like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Do you know what's going on? Yeah, I don't know. But there's a lot of that. You do begin making your way to the evening nip. And as you do, I would like for all of you to make perception checks for me, please. So, all right, you take 6 men over there. I want you on the western wall. You take 5 men over there. Go to the eastern wall. Move, right? And they start to kind of collect themselves and they start to move off. And as the two groups are moving off, you can hear a few people within those groups. One of them is saying, "All right, so when we get there, lock down the walls. Nobody in, nobody out." And then on the other group, you definitely can hear, "All right, you're gonna lock that down, and then we're gonna make inspections of all the damage. The assembly is giving us their best mages. They're actually even getting some of the students out of the academy to reinforce us. So we should be all right." And that's what Jarina, Sora, Squall, and Leah hear. But eventually, you begin making. Yes, Jarina.
Sorry, when I hear this, I wanna let them know that we're gonna have to be quick because they're gonna lock down the city.
Okay. All right, so you make your way over to the evening nip. As you get there, again, this area, there you see the occasional Crown's Guard on a good day. Today's not a good day, but you don't see any Crown's Guard in this area. But the front door of the actual evening nip is slightly ajar, and there is a large gentleman, human-looking, kind of sitting in front of it. The bouncer that you had previously seen, just kind of sitting there, arms crossed, very alert, just kind of like looking around. Immediately sees your group as you approach. Kind of raises an eyebrow as you approach, and just kind of like nods to all of you and just allows you to go in. As you go in, there is the bartender dwarf behind the bar who is currently drinking a large stein of what seems to be frothy beer. And there are about half a dozen individuals, patrons in here, just in different booths and seats throughout the bar here. They all just kind of have drinks in front of them, and as you all enter, bartender just kind of looks over and goes, "Hi."
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, is the gentleman around?
Who? Immediately, the door of the bar closes that you just walked into. And the bouncer is now standing in front of the door on the inside, standing right behind all of you. The 6 individuals that are at different bars, different places in the bar, all turn and they're all staring at you. A couple of them have their hands underneath the tables. Jarina?
I whispered to Sora, "We gotta stop using his name out loud."
Sorry.
What are you doing? They look like they're ready to do something.
I'd like to say, I'm sorry, we're looking for someone named Kara, please.
2 individuals pull out short swords from underneath the tables. You are all not making this better. You don't need to roll an insight check for that.
We don't want any trouble, guys. We're just here to finish a transaction. That's all.
The bartender is he's the only one that has not pulled a weapon. He is still drinking the beer, and he just looks at you and goes, "Weren't you told what to fucking do when you come here?"
Out of game, what were we told?
Who's your note taker? I can't play the game for all of you. That's not how this works.
I
This
think
is how
that
the campaign
I
ends.
think that might have been Phoebe.
This is how you all die.
No, it was me. Hold on.
All right.
So, two more individuals pull out weapons, and they are now stepping out of the booths that they're in, and they're beginning to surround you all.
I just sit down and just wait for the end.
You don't get to sit down because there's somebody poking a short sword in your back right now. You are all literally surrounded as you walked into the bar, and Sora said, "We're looking for the gentleman." Immediately, if you can't find it, I will make you roll an intelligence check.
We've returned to offer gifts.
They all look at each other, and then they all look at the bartender, who's shaking his head. What the fuck is wrong with all of you?
It's been a day.
Clearly there's some shit going on out there, but there's about to be shit going on in here if you don't come correct. Jarena, roll me an intelligence check, please, to see if you can recall. You got some of it right, so the DC is not as bad as it would have been.
I got a nat 20 plus 1.
So immediately as you see like these individuals getting ready to just start attacking you all, and you kind of blurted out the first thing, you go, oh no. We come bearing many gifts. You don't say it, it just pops into your head.
We come bearing many gifts.
As soon as you say it, they all just kind of like, and they turn around, go back to their seats. They start putting the weapons back underneath the tables, and they're all shaking their heads. And the bartender just kind of like slams the stein down, shaking his head. Come on. Fucking shit. Just kind of like jumps down from the stool that he was standing on and leads you to the closet area, which you recall is the way, the secret way to get into the real evening nip. You get taken down the stairs, and as you kind of reach the bottom of the stairs, the bartender is behind you, goes, all right, try not to fucking forget it next time. Turns around, walks back upstairs, closes everything behind him. So now as you are at the bottom of the steps, and you can actually see the entrance of the real evening nip, you can hear what sounds like a commotion. There's a lot of voices, a lot of movement, a lot of things are happening. And as you walk in, immediately you see the large 11-foot ogre sitting down by the door, gigantic maul across his lap. And as you just kind of walk in, just kind of looks at you and just...
DM, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Did I have time to open the portable hole before we went back into the city? How long were we talking to Leo?
You were talking to him for about like maybe 15-20 minutes. I would say you'd had time to do that.
Okay, because I want to make sure I took the heads out of the hole before we came into the bar.
Okay. So as you kind of enter, not only do you see the large ogre Kutha just kind of sitting there, there is just bustle going on here in the evening nip. You can actually see like dozens and dozens of individuals, mostly, hoods up, all of them wearing, either dark brown or black armor and clothing and cloaks and hoods. And you can see over to the side, there is just a table filled with food and drinks. Some of them are just like very quickly grabbing stuff and eating. Others, you can see they're just checking each other's gear, like, making sure that their weapons are on, making sure that their armor is set. And it looks like something like they're getting ready for battle or something. And in the back corner, as you walk in, you kind of walk in a little further, you can see at the long table that you originally saw, you can see the gentleman just kind of standing over the table, his hands on the table, and he's just kind of like pointing to a few individuals, he's just kind of talking to them. And as soon as he finishes talking, they're running out through some kind of they run into some back room. And then the door closes. And as you walk in, somebody kind of goes over to the gentleman, whispers in his ear, and he looks up and he sees all of you. Oh, interesting. Welcome. Please, grab yourself some food. I will be with you in a moment. Snaps his fingers. And as he snaps his fingers, up on the balcony, across the top of the actual bar, there are many individuals up there. As soon as he snaps his fingers, you all see them raise these long tubes pointed at all of you. And don't worry about them. They're just here to make sure you don't do anything stupid until I get to you. But please, help yourselves to whatever you like. Food, drink, right there on that table. And he continues to kind of like talk with the individuals. If anybody would like to make a perception check, kind of see if they can overhear what he's saying, you can do so. So Jarina is going to
11.
Leah, Squall. All right, Squall got 11.
I got a 19.
Hold on. Jarina got a what?
19.
19. Leah, what did you get?
I rolled a 4 plus 8 is 12.
12. Sora, what'd you get?
13.
13. Did you roll, Ron?
No, Rowan just wants breakfast.
Okay. So
I'm generally
got a
torn
19.
between the spread and what's important in the situation.
okay.
Yeah.
So
I got a 19.
Oh, okay. 19. Okay. All right. So all of you are able to kind of hear generally what he's doing, and the gentleman is there, like he's giving orders. You can hear him kind of he looks and points at like 2 or 3 individuals, and he says Pentamarket, and then he points to 2 or 3 others, and he goes Eastern Outer Steads, and he's definitely like giving orders and sending individuals places. But Jarina and Galen, you specifically hear a couple of other things that he says. So when he's kind of like giving orders and saying where to go, he does give like a few extra orders that are kind of under his breath slightly. But you do hear him, Jarina and Galen hear him say, make sure our contacts are protected, but if they're involved with anything that's happening, make sure they disappear. And that's pretty much all you hear. And this goes on. This goes on for a while. So you're kind of sitting there eating, and while you're eating, like you can sit at the table. Like there are chairs at the table. There are still individuals here in the bar who just kind of like reach over your shoulder and just grab shit over your shoulder, and they're taking it and then they're going. But you have some time if you want to like talk amongst yourselves for the moment. If you'd like to do that, you can do so.
I whisper to Leah, I think he likes you best. I think you should be the one to do the transaction. And I hand her the bag.
Okay.
Okay. And the bag specifically has the heads? What about?
And I think
What about the?
I think
gold?
Leah's
I have
Yeah.
the pouch with the money. The money is 13,947 gold pieces.
Okay. All right. All right. Anything else?
Should we tell him about the blood? I mean, should we go into specifics, or should we even mention about Glasgow?
We'll tell them he was a fiend, and we heard through the grapevine he was making problems for everyone.
Okay.
I really think this conversation should be short. We should only answer to the questions he asks, and we should not elaborate freely in conversation. This business does not extend past what we were forced into, because otherwise
Exactly.
he might trick us and we might become a pawn longer than we need to be.
I agree with Squall.
We'll leave it with Leah.
Leia.
Got it.
Okay. So you're sitting at the table eating, kind of chatting amongst yourselves for about another like half hour or so. And as you begin to look around, it does empty out. Like the bar definitely empties out. The only group of individuals that doesn't leave are the ones that have weapons trained on you up on the balcony. And you can see about 8 individuals who just have these long tubed things that you're not 100% sure what they are, just kind of pointed at you. Apparently some kind of weapon, but you're not familiar with it. You also see as he's just kind of like, at this point in time, he has now kind of sat down at his chair, and a plate of food has been brought over to him with a wine goblet. And he's just kind of like, he kind of wipes his brow for a moment, and you see his bodyguard, Sarah, the large Goliath female, kind of standing behind him, and she's just kind of like massaging his shoulders slightly. And then she just kind of like leans forward and whispers something in his ear, and he just goes, "Oh yeah, yes, okay. You group, what the hell is your names? Like I'm never gonna remember your individual names. Like your mercenary group, right? You have like a name, right? Or do I just keep calling you, hey, you guys? Like what do I call you?"
We haven't thought of a name yet. Hey, you guys is fine for now.
Very well. Hey, you guys, please join me at my table, please.
Could you say it more like, "Hey, you guys"?
Please don't joke. Please don't joke.
He just stares at you, and he kind of like he kind of like smirks slightly, and he goes, "No."
I tried.
So you make your way over to his table. He goes, all right. So I do apologize for not attending to you sooner. It's a little crazy today. Started my day a lot earlier than I normally do. But got to protect our interests and all that. But it's good to see that most of you are here. Where's your other friend, the other elf?
Well, it seems that she was taken in through a portal by a dragon.
He kind of gives you a really weird look. Make a persuasion check at disadvantage, because he clearly thinks you're full of shit.
At disadvantage, I rolled a 5, and my persuasion is +5, so that's a 10.
A 10.
Guys, if you want, I'll use a group.
Use a group,
inspiration.
please.
Okay.
Yes.
Much better. A 19 and an 18. So the 18 will be 23.
23. Okay. So he kind of looks at you, just for like, and you feel like he is reading you, like reading through you. And he just kind of like spends a moment. He goes, "Oh, dragon, that's interesting. So she will not be joining us for the foreseeable future, is what you're saying?"
Yes.
All right, very well. Let's not even think about the craziness of today. So, how have your tasks gone? Please enlighten me. Give me some good news, please. I could use it.
Our tasks were all successful. I hand him the gold. Your gifts. We had a problem with one of the gift exchanges, and I hand him the head of the Blood Witch in the bag so that the whole room doesn't see it.
All right.
And we also have an extra gift.
All right. So at first he kind of like he takes the bag, the sack of coins, and he grabs it, and he just slightly opens it, picks it up, kind of holds it like he's weighing it, and then he just kind of slides it off to the side. He takes the bag with the head, and he opens it up. He goes, "Oh, Sora, this is for you." And the female Goliath, she just kind of grabs it, and she kind of looks inside, and then looks at all of you, and then she just reaches into the bag, pulls the head out, and then she goes into like there's like a little cubby behind her. She kind of reaches around, and she pulls out what looks like a pike or a pole, and she just jams the head onto the pole. And then you go, and on the wall there are it looks like these clamps that you would use to kind of hold torches. And she just kind of like attaches this pole to one of the clamps. And so now the Blood Witch's head is just adorned on this pole on the wall. And he just kind of looks at it and he goes, "So I don't recall asking, I don't know who that is. Who is that?"
That's the matron of the orphanage who refused to pay. She's a little different.
Yes.
Than we expected.
Oh, so what you're saying that this is what she really looked like?
Yes.
Interesting. And so she wasn't as I mean, clearly she was not forthcoming with the amount asked of her.
Exactly.
Good. Did you happen to find anything else during your chores of interest? Something that I might be interested in?
We did find that she had a partner, a Crown's Guard, who was causing problems and is definitely not well liked. And I hand him the next head in the bag. He was also not as he appeared.
It's a lot of heads. Is this like a running theme for your group? You just like collect heads? Is that what you do?
It seems to be the best way to prove our skill and work has been completed.
I'm not arguing with that. This clearly this is proof. I am a big fan of proof. He kind of hands it to Sarah again. That one, you know what? Give it to Dweez. He knows what he'll know what to do with it. And she just kind of like and she takes the bag and she puts it in that cubby hole, and then it just comes right back. All right. And so who is this? So who is this Crown's Guard that was not a Crown's Guard?
I have his name. It's Goloth something. Out of game. What is it?
Gloss.
Gosm Gloss.
Oh. So he wasn't. Wait. So what you're saying is he was in cahoots with her,
Yes.
and he also wasn't what he appeared to be.
Yes.
That makes so much more sense now. Interesting. Anything else of interest that you found? Doesn't have to be those two, but you know, the baker, the bookkeeper. Anything of interest? Anything that I might need to know about, or maybe it's something that you found?
Well, the bookkeeper was an idiot. And the
Yes.
baker is making some exceptional pastry that seemed to addict all of their patrons to the point of almost mania. We saw this firsthand with Rowan, who sampled their goods.
I see.
So they were very forthcoming with their pay as they were making more money than they knew what to do with. Little factor of interest for you.
Do you know what they were? Do you know what they were using? What the secret ingredient is, as it were?
Well, I hand him one of the pastry because I have 3.
Okay.
And it seems to be some type of magical powder that makes people compliant.
He kind of grabs it. Hand me that, please, Sarah. And she kind of reaches over and grabs some kind of just looks like a small dish towel, and he puts the pastry in it, and he just kind of wraps the dish towel around it. He goes, "It's good to know. Put that in the kitchen." Sarah takes it. She kind of walks over into a back room, comes back a moment later. Right, all right. So strange, addictive powders, matrons and guards that don't appear to be what they are, some kind of hellish creatures. Very interesting, very, very intriguing. I'm intrigued. Anything else? Any items, extra monies that might have fallen into your lap, per se, you know, in the course of these chores that you were doing for me? And I will remind you that lying to me is not a good idea.
I want to whisper into Leah's ear, "Do you still have the drugs?"
I'm gonna come clean with that, no problem.
Okay.
We don't need more grief. So I look at the gentleman and I tell him very frankly, the situation at the orphanage was dire, and the children were badly beaten and abused.
Mm-hmm.
We used some of the money that we found in the orphanage to pay the tax collector to keep him away from the children. We also found a quantity of the pure drug that the bakers used. We don't know if they were getting this from the Blood Witch, but she did have some in her possession. We planted some in the Crown's Guard's home to further incriminate him. And I hand him the pouch that I have. And this was the rest of it.
Okay. So he takes the pouch from you again, and he just kind of very gingerly just kind of opens it, just kind of looks in. He ties the bag very, very tightly. You watch his lips get very, very tight. His eyes just kind of Leah, since you're talking to him, make an insight check for me.
I rolled a 1. Can I use another group inspiration, please?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay, I rolled a 15. Let me check what I had. What was I looking up? Insight?
Insight, yeah.
Okay, 15 plus 2, 17.
17. As he looked in the bag, he got pissed off. And he's very, he is fuming, but he is holding his composure. But you can tell just like there's a the ever so slight twitch of the eye, and how his lips have just become very, very pursed. Like he's pissed, but at general glance, no one would know. But since you're looking at him and you made that insight check, yeah, he's very upset. And so he just kind of like he pushes it to the side, and he looks like he's kind of thinking about something, and then he looks back to you and goes, so you're saying that this was part of her, what you found in her belongings in an
Yes.
in an orphanage?
Yes. The children were terrified. And it seems that the Crown's Guard was beating them regularly with her approval.
Well, yeah, Glosk was always a handful, to say the least, and a problem. So I wouldn't put that past him. But again, with the head in the other room now, I don't think he's a problem anymore. All right. Is there anything else?
Okay. We did find a little bit of extra money in the orphanage. Obviously, she was making money off her drug trade. And I hand him the sack with, let me see. So there was 12,360 gold.
And so you hand that sack over to him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so he opens it up, he looks in, and he kind of pushes it next to the small satchel of the drugs, the suit. And he just kind of takes a moment and he begins just kind of staring all of you down. Just kind of looking you all up and down. And after a very, very long moment of him doing this, he just goes, all right, excellent. Good work, everyone. Good work. So, I like it. You took care of the tasks at hand. You took care of a little extra problem that I had, without even me asking, which is amazing. So thank you for that. And on top of that, you truly understand the worth of trust. You trusted me with all of these extra things that you didn't necessarily have to. Now, again, granted, if you would have, it probably would have not turned well in your favor. But you did. And you didn't try to put one over on me. And I appreciate that. So, to show my appreciation, and he pushes back the bag of 12,000 gold towards you. Keep that as a finder's fee, if you will. And a good work. Right? And again, I'm sorry that your friend will no longer be with you, but I'm sure the coin will be compensation enough for your loss. Now,
Thank you.
you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, with that, I'm sure you'll find that there's some interesting things have been going on since last we spoke. So you'll be happy to know that Kara is now going to be taking care of things over at the orphanage.
Thank you.
As she is someone who actually came from that orphanage many years ago. She's quite familiar with the inner workings of how all of that works. So she'll be taking care of that. And believe me when I say, those children are in excellent hands. For all of the fear that they may have endured under this evil witch, they will have the opposite in Kara. They will be trusted, they will be respected, and they will be taken very well care of. You have my word on that.
Thank you so much.
And I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very impressed that you took care of Glosk. Now, I didn't know what his true nature was, which, again, doubly impresses me. That you began to take care of that issue and realized that it was not what you probably originally thought it was, yet still followed through. So, I'd like to make a proposition, if you would hear me out. Okay. So, this time, and he kind of snaps his fingers, and as he does, the 8 individuals up on the balcony pull the weapons back and hide them underneath their cloaks. This time, we will be talking as equals. There will not be anything being held over your head, because as far as I'm concerned, you have paid your debt to me. So whatever I'm about to propose to you, do not feel obligated to take it. Feel that you have to or you must. This will be your decision. The only thing I must insist upon is that no one ever finds out about our association together. Should I hear through the grapevine, and my grapevine is extensive, that you mention my name, or you say that you work with me, or any such things around that, you will die. That's it. I don't make idle threats, and I don't get flowery with my words. You will die. Because that's not how you do good business. You have to trust each other. You have to trust the people you work for as well. So with that in mind, here's my proposal. You are always welcome here at the True Evening Nip. And at such times, I may have business that needs to be conducted every now and then. And if you are free and willing to do so, I can offer up some work for you. I do currently have 2 pieces of work that I cannot, with all the craziness that's going on this morning, I can't actually impart to some of my people. I need all the hands I can here in Zadash, but the work will entail leaving Zadash. And considering that, from what I understand, the city is beginning to be on lockdown, I can get you out of Zadash without any issues. No one will even know that you're gone. But you would be working for me in the meantime. And I can pay you half up front for the work. And once you complete it, you'll receive the other half of your payments. Again, if you are willing, you are under no obligation at this time to say yes to anything I suggest. You can take jobs as you will or not. Regardless, you will always still be welcome here. How does that sound?
Maybe we please have a moment to discuss it. I wouldn't want to speak for our group without their opinion.
Oh no, please, of course, without any Again, you're under no obligation. There's still plenty of food. I still have to tidy up a little bit of. Fine, I'm still getting more information about what happened this morning. Do you know anything about what happened this morning in the Tri-Spires?
Not much. We were descended upon by kobolds. We were attacked in the street. Sora almost died. We have no definitive evidence to show where the portals came from or who's behind them. Does anybody have any ideas? And I looked at the group.
Leah, make a deception check, please.
I seriously don't know. I'm not deceiving anybody. I seriously don't know.
All right, so make a persuasion check at disadvantage then.
20 and a 15. Let me see what I add to that. Persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 15 plus 5 is 20.
20? Okay. He kind of just looks at you, Leah, and says, all right. Well, if anything comes to mind, please let me know. But, just, you may continue to help yourselves to whatever food you like. I know it's a bit early, but, sometimes there are day drinkers amongst mercenary groups. Feel free, drinks around the house. And considering everything as well, if you need a spot to kind of rest your head for the evening, I could probably provide a small space for your group. But just let me know.
Thank you for all your hospitality.
You're very welcome. You may go now.
Yeah, I think we could use a rest.
And he just kind of like...
Agreed.
He kind of like scoots you, like basically saying, leave his table.
I definitely get up and start leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. So you make your way back over to the table with the food. At this point in time, there's the 8 individuals up on the balcony. There's probably a dozen or so folks just kind of like mingling in the rest of the bar. They're not necessarily together. They're just kind of like looking around. Some of them are just kind of sitting, seemingly anxious. But nobody's really kind of talking to each other at this point in time. So you kind of have at this moment time to yourselves to kind of like discuss whatever you'd like, or what would you like to do?
Guys, I think we should just leave with the opening we already have. I think there's still some time before any guards notice. I mean, it's a big wall.
They're doing the lockdown now. We could use his invitation to get out of the city, but I think we can probably manage that on our own.
I don't think we'll get out of the city on our own. I think that it's better to keep a positive relationship with this group.
I don't want to work with him. He's so dangerous.
That's why I'd rather be on positive terms. They seem to be able to find us anywhere.
Even though we can leave on positive terms, he gave us that opening.
Well, we can still, he offered to sneak us out, and he offered a place to rest, which we need. Let's do that. If we ever come back, then we'll
We have to come
revisit
back
that.
because we're working for him.
No,
we're not.
we're not working for him.
You said our debt was paid.
Yeah.
But if he gets us out of the city, then we're working for him.
Yeah.
No, that was
Yes.
an offer.
Yeah, but that offer came with us working for him.
Yes, exactly. It was if we accepted this quest that requires us to be out of Zadash. I think.
So
we can
I know you
manage
have a big
without-
problem. Yeah, I think we can manage it on our own. In fact, we can go to an inn. We don't have to sleep here if we don't want to.
We definitely need to get out of the city as quickly as possible, but we also need to rest. A lot of us are not feeling that great. We don't have any potions or anything like that.
How about this? This is just a crazy idea. Some of us go to the hole. If there aren't any immediate guards there, or a huge swarm of them trying to immediately fix it, the wall, we just book it. We just go through there, and then that's it. If there
We
are
can
guards,
rest after.
yeah, we can rest after. If there are guards, then we just find an inn. Is that all right? Is that crazy?
We
By
can make
tomorrow,
camp.
tomorrow, the city will be in complete lockdown, and we are not natives of the city. They're not going to let us out. I spoke my piece. I think we should at least keep a amicable relationship with this organization and use their resources to get us out of the city.
It also depends on the job. If the job is just to shake down another person, that's one thing. If it's to be murder hobos, it's another thing.
Didn't he give us a choice about accepting jobs?
Yeah, he said we were not obligated to, but if we wanted him to get us out of the town, it would require us to accept the quest. And I think we should get out of here ASAP.
And I think we have a good enough... We're not on the shit list of the myriad. I think that's a good enough relationship.
Well, I'll do whatever Leah thinks is best.
I don't want to force the group into anything. You all seem to be.
We can't
put it
agree.
to a vote.
We can't agree on anything.
Squall, your thoughts, Jarina?
I wouldn't mind a bit of a decisive way out of town. We could arguably just continue the conversation and see if he's willing to provide a direction or a strategy out of town at no guarantee, at no
That's the
promise that would
thing.
work for him.
That's the thing. It all comes with a price.
Well, we could ask what the job is. We don't necessarily have to take it, and we can go from there.
It's probably something that he doesn't want everyone to know about, so if we don't take the job, he doesn't want us knowing about.
Good point.
I think that we can take Leo's advice and wipe our own asses by getting ourselves out of town.
All right.
I'm equally fine with that option. Let's just get out quick. And I don't think it's safe for us to stay in town and rest. To which we should get out of town ASAP and find a place to hold down outside of town.
I think we need to get as far away from this place as we can.
Agreed.
I agree.
So it's sounding like the majority is saying we get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. As you finish this conversation, you watch as the large ogre standing by the door immediately sits up, begins kind of looking around, and then hits something on the side of the wall. And as they hit something on the side of the wall, you watch as the door that was normally open, there wasn't even a door, it was just a doorway. You watch as this rock wall slides down. All of the torchlight in the room goes out. And immediately everyone is silent. You hear a voice out of the darkness come to you. And those of you with dark vision can see just this cloaked individual come over. Just, you need to be real fucking quiet. The Scourge is upstairs. Just shut the fuck up. Jarina?
Out of game DM, they keep saying the word scourgers. Does it bring any type of familiarity to Jarina's dreams?
No.
Understood.
So you're in the dark. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 20 minutes goes by. You can't even hear. The only sound you can hear is your own breathing. And eventually it gets to that point where you can begin to hear your own heartbeat in your ears because it's so quiet that it's almost maddening. And about the half-hour mark, you hear another and the torch lights all go on at the same time. And all of the individuals that were left in this bar, they're holding their weapons up and they're still looking around. The gentleman is standing with this wicked looking scimitar. It is blue and it's got this kind of like at the back of it, it looks like these barbs that are just kind of like coming off of it. It almost looks like a wave. And he's just standing there. And he just makes these kind of very quick motions with his hands. And 4 of the individuals go out of the entranceway, which is now open, and slowly and quietly begin making their way upstairs. As you kind of turn to look at the gentleman, he's got his hand over his mouth, his finger over his mouth. It's all of you. Another 5 minutes goes by. And one individual comes back downstairs. Coast is clear, sir. And now everybody kind of lets out a long sigh.
Leah, I changed my mind. I think we should just get the fuck out of the city.
Okay.
The gentleman kind of walks over and goes, well, that's a bit of an interesting morning that we're having here. Kobolds and scourgers. Know anything about this?
Out of game, do we?
I think what we know is that
I
they
missed
are
something.
after
I'm
us.
so
I
sorry.
think. You know,
So-
what we know is that these guys, that we're the ones with the target on our backs.
You're saying this out of game, right?
Out of
or
game.
in okay.
Okay.
Both out of game and in game. I believe they're after us.
No, don't. Because they're after Leo.
They're after Leopold.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, scourgers aren't
Out of-
after you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Leo did say that, they're after him now, which is why
Yeah,
he's
because
leaving.
they thought that he was the one making the portals.
Gotcha.
That's why he went on a vacation.
Right.
So out of game. I mean,
Mhm.
we probably shouldn't say that.
No, we have to tell him because he'll know when we're lying.
Okay.
Out of game. So, Leah, will you please tell him that the Scourgers are looking for Leo because they think he's behind the portals, but he's not?
Okay. So they could be looking for this wizard that was skipping town when we were running through the street.
What wizard from the assembly?
No, he's not from the assembly.
You mean that
Yeah.
crazy old coot that lives in the Tri-Spires?
That's the guy.
Yep.
Crazy old coot.
The scourgers are looking for him?
Apparently, yeah. We
May-
think. We don't really know.
Make a persuasion check, please.
Okay, 17 plus 5, 22.
22. He kind of looks at you as he says, "Well, they're in for a ride. What's your association with him? How do you know that?"
We ran into his golem on the way out of town.
Interesting. All right.
Mhm.
Well, if scourgers are in the area, it's probably best you don't leave right away. At least stay for a few hours just to make sure that things are all clear. But in the meantime, you know, if you're willing to at least hear me out what these jobs are, and then you can make an informed decision. I'd be willing to share that information with you.
Guys,
So this isn't
We're-
like we question. So this isn't like we hear the information and we're already forced to be on board. It's
No,
you're fine just telling us.
it's a job, right? You can't very well do the job if you don't know what the job is. I'm not gonna send you blindly into a job. Say, go to this place. Good luck. That's not how it works. Have you never worked for someone before?
No, I have. They just don't tell us anything.
You can't work like that. You get shoddy jobs done that way.
Yep.
All right. But yeah, if
Yes.
you're willing
Let's
to hear
hear
me
him
out.
out.
Well, so the first job, I have two jobs available. The first job, I have a contact that I haven't heard from in some time, and this individual was someone that, well, to put not too fine a point on it, provided me with very special items. Weapons, mainly. And we had a nice lucrative thing going for the last year or so. And I normally would hear from him about a month ago. I should have heard from him, and I've not heard from him, and I'm not happy about that, because it either means he's decided to just fuck off, which is not good business practice, or something has happened to him, which I would be doubly upset with because I happen to enjoy his company. So if you were willing to do so, this first job, my contact, he's currently well, the last time I heard from him, he was in Hupperduke. And I would really like to know what's going on. The actual job itself would be twofold, I guess. To find him and find out what's happened. Like why aren't we communicating and we aren't doing business together? And then I guess the second part of it would be in making sure that making sure that business goes back to usual, where we are now working together again, whether it's him or possibly someone else, but making sure those bridges are fixed and business goes back to usual. That would be the first job. Now, if you were to complete the job itself, I could pay you 5,000 gold pieces, 2,500 up front, and then 2,500 when you complete the job. And I would need you to kind of get on that as I said, it's been a month now, so I'm a bit concerned. So I would need you to get on that as soon as you are able. The sooner the better. But there's not really a timetable on it, but I'd really like for it to get completed as quickly as possible.
Out of game, where is Humperduke? Do we know?
Rowan, you can roll me a history check.
Don't we have a map of the northern areas?
You have a map, but you're not entirely sure. Like, it's not a complete map.
Oh, I thought we had a brand new one.
You
that
do,
we got as soon as we entered.
but Sora has that.
21.
21. It's kind of north of Zadash. Maybe if you were going, regular pace on a road from Zadash to Humperduke, probably take you about a week and a half to 2 weeks to get there.
I have another question. Is that in the same area that the tribes that lost contact with the soul are?
No. You recall that they said it was in Shady Creek Run.
Okay.
So that's the first job. Jarina?
I would like to ask the gentleman the name of the contact because I'm originally from Humperduke.
Okay. So you ask and he goes, well, yes, his name is Miro Zifrine. Elven gentleman, kind of up there in age. I don't ask my friends how old they are, but he's definitely what you would call a distinguished gentleman, much older, especially in elven years. Very fancy, doesn't like to get his robes dirty, his clothes dirty, which is very strange considering the line of work he's in. He makes things, which tends to make one dirty. I assume I'm not a gadget maker or a tinker of any kind, but I would imagine you get dirty, and he's just very particular about keeping himself very clean. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of odd, in a city filled with mostly gnomes. So he probably would stand out.
Out of game. Do I recognize the name or the person who visited my home?
What do you mean by that second part?
Session 0.
Okay. Make a general intelligence check for me.
May I use a group inspo?
Sure.
That's a 19.
19. The person that visited your home, this doesn't sound like them at all. However, the name does sound vaguely familiar. And as you start thinking about it, you do recall your father talking about someone that he used to say, he's pretty smart for an elf. He should have been a gnome. And it sounds like if you recall correctly, it was this person's name.
Okay, I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Okay. So that's the first job. Second job is a little more difficult. but because of the difficulty, it does pay a hell of a lot more. The total pay for the second job is 15,000 gold pieces. But it doesn't come without some risk. And interestingly enough, this job actually kind of coincides a little bit with our kind of back and forth that we had. You know, your intrusion upon my work, as it were. You see, I do have some tenuous alliances with a tribe or two up in Shady Creek Run. Now, for some reason, my men and my business have been under attack. I'm supposed to have some backing from my allies out of the tribes, and they are somewhat quiet. And it's a little similar in the sense of I have no idea what's going on, and I don't like to not know. So the job would be to go to Shady Creek Run, make contact with my allies there, assess the situation, and put things back on track. Meaning, if for whatever reason they are no longer my allies, make me some allies. I need allies out of Shady Creek Run. However, there are a few of the tribes that you should not make allies with. And should you decide to take this job, I will give you more information. This one is a little more sensitive, so I can't just willy-nilly just kind of blurt out names. But should you decide to take the job, again, get half up front, you receive the rest when the work is complete. And you will definitely, as I said, get the details so you can complete your job with as much information as possible. But think about it. Let me know. But again, both of these jobs, not necessarily time sensitive, but the sooner it gets done, the better. And I will say, because your group looks like they probably like incentives, the sooner you get these jobs done, there might be a little extra bonus in it for you. And I'll even say this. If you'd like, you could do both jobs at the same time. But if you'd rather not do either of them, or you only want to take one or the other, it's your choice.
Guys, you want to discuss this? This doesn't seem like a bad option.
Okay.
As the gentleman's talking to you, you see another like hooded individual just kind of come up to him, has their back to you, just kind of leans in and begins kind of whispering in his ear. Oh, good, thank you. Oh, you'll all be very happy to know that the Crown's Guard, specifically the King's Hall, has received a report from the Lawmaster of Trustenwald about a group of individuals that fled Trustenwald after being attacked at the Von Scott Manor. And this troop includes 3 tieflings, a rather portly male dragonborn of silver design, and 2 halflings. So just thought you'd be interested in that tidbit of information.
That's Great, thank you.
As
Yes.
as I said, I take care of my allies.
Guys, group huddle.
Oh no,
Yep.
please, yes, yeah, please. Speak amongst yourselves and let me know what you think. But I must request that you stay at least a few hours to make sure the Scourgers don't see your departing my establishment.
Of course.
Of course.
Trust me when I say you are very protected here. All right, scoot, go.
We're scooting.
Yeah.
We scooted.
All right, so you scoot
We're
over
full of
to the
scoot.
so you scoot over to the table to kind of discuss what's going on, and you can see like mostly everybody here is on edge to a certain degree. The gentleman is still kind of conducting business as he sees fit, but he's now at this point like enjoying the food in front of him. He's just starting to eat, and nobody's bothering him while he's eating. Everybody's just kind of going about their business, but nobody is leaving. And that seems to be the most important thing in this moment. And as that happens, that's where we're going to take our break. All right.
Thank you.
So we're going to take our break. We'll be back shortly to see what our hey you guys wants to do with this offer, if anything, and we will take it from there. So we'll be back shortly. happened? Oh, hold on. There we go. Professional streamer, folks. Yeah.
Woohoo!
Alrighty, here we go. We're good. So we're back, folks. Alrighty, so you find yourself here in the bowels of the evening nip. You were just talking with the gentleman who gave you a little more detail on the work and how much all of that is going to be. And you have a number of hours to kind of discuss this amongst yourselves. You definitely have some time to take a short rest if you'd like. So what would you like to do?
I would like to discuss this and take a short rest.
Agreed.
Okay.
Short rest, yes. And in the discussion, Jarina is not going to let anybody say anything first. I think that we should only do the first job because you guys have never been to Shady Creek before, and I have, and it's no joke. I think the easiest job to do is going to be the first one.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like a messy job. We're just trying to reestablish contact with somebody you already had contact with.
Which I'm going to tell you right now, I have some way of getting in contact with them.
And also, isn't that closer to the Savalier Wood, if I remember correctly? Because that's all the way north.
Shady Creek is closer to the Savalier Wood. Hupperduke is on the way. As I've told you guys before, I am originally from Hupperduke. So, and I have been to Shady Creek before, and that place is dangerous as hell.
Okay.
Okay, I will take your advice.
Have you been to Rothold?
No.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to compare some notes if we ever pass through there.
That's fine.
We have hours to kill. Why don't we compare notes now?
Do they have mutated monsters that come every other week in Shady
No.
Creek?
But they have plenty of criminals over there, and basically just all around bad people, okay? Trust me, it's not... I've seen them beat up an older dwarf man just to rob him. They will kill anybody who gets in their way. They just some nasty individuals over there.
Do you feel that it's worse than what we've already encountered? With Demon Chicken Man and Blood Witch?
No, but I wouldn't even risk it. Going to the Savalier Woods in general is just... It's a cursed woods. And Shady Creek is not that far away from there.
It is a bit sketchy. I have been to the wood.
It's where all the outlaws are.
I got news for you, Jarina. I think we fall into that category.
Yep.
Isn't your business taking you to the Savalier Wood as well, Jarina?
It is, but
So
I
is
would
mine.
prefer not sit. Hope's was as well. Hope is originally from around there, and based on her scrolls and her journal entries, she's somewhat connected to the Savalier Woods. That's where I saved Maya from a giant cursed spider. I would prefer not to hang around Shady Creek. If we can just go through there, that's fine. I do not want to stay there.
So there are mutated monsters.
In the woods, yes.
I trust you,
Okay.
Jarina. We'll just take the first job.
I've survived one cursed wood, so what's another?
Just to cover all bases, we would have the support of the gentleman and his group as we went through there, which means we probably would have some contacts if we actually needed help. Is that
Yes.
something?
You
That's
said
it.
under no uncertain terms are we to say we're working for him.
That doesn't mean that people there aren't going to know who we are and what we're doing there.
That, and he even said that there's a possibility that his alliances aren't alliances anymore.
Okay.
It's just not worth. It's not worth the hassle or the danger.
All right, so we do the first one then, and we keep trucking from there.
We take your word for it, Jarina. Is there anything else about that place that you would want to tell us so that we can better understand where you're coming from?
I go and tell them more about the dwarf beggar. Where's the name? Allies. The dwarf beggar named Beldane, who I helped. I leave out some information of my findings and how I helped, but just his condition when I found him was near death.
I see.
Anybody who wants to roll a history check, all right, so I'll say this. If you're proficient in history and would like to roll to learn to see how much you know about Shady Creek Run, it'll be a straight roll. If you're not proficient in history and you still want to roll, it's going to be at disadvantage.
I got a 12.
Okay. Anybody else?
I got a 16.
16. Okay. That's it.
I got a 5.
5. You've been there. You know about it. The hell are you talking about? The hell are you talking about? You know what's going on over there. Alrighty. So the two of you, as Jarina's kind of talking with you about this place, Shady Creek Run, and she's kind of telling you a little bit about like her time there. Shady Creek Run is not within the Dwendalian Empire. It is completely outside of it, and for good reason, because everyone who lives there is someone specifically who fucking hates the Dwendalian Empire. They left mostly because they couldn't stand the rules, but the majority of folks there are killers, murderers, burglars, like just the lowest of lows. And they've decided to make that place their own. And Rowan, you know that when the gentleman is talking about the tribes, what he's specifically talking about are families that have taken over certain areas of power within Shady Creek Run and have influence outside of the run as well. Think of in no certain terms like mob families.
The Godfather. Mm-hmm.
Right? And the fact that you have a group of families who essentially run Shady Creek Run, and the run itself is made up of all of these terrible, terrible people, that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of families these are, these tribes.
The families.
So that's what you know with those rolls.
May I ask a question?
Sure. Who you want to ask?
I'm gonna ask Jarina.
Okay.
So Jarina, is it possible that the situation in this area is similar to what was going on here with the corrupt Crown's Guard and a blood witch selling drugs to everyone, where creating an affiliation for the gentleman might ease the damage that's done there? Or is it, or are you less familiar with the situation?
Out of game, I'm not entirely sure how to answer that. I'm going to say that just based on my experiences, especially with the fact that the gentleman did even prelude this job with it has its risks, and knowing from my time there what I've seen, I would, and just everything that we've already been through, I wouldn't steer you guys away from it if I didn't think that it could possibly harm or kill any of us.
Does everybody agree then?
Yeah, I think we're all agreed.
Squall?
Mhm.
Sure.
I'm on board with the majority.
Okay, then we'll take the first job and get the hell out of the city.
I will say we will have to go through or around Shady Creek, but I would prefer not staying there and involving ourselves in their stuff.
Actually, no. No. Shady Creek Run is north of Hupperduke, so you'd hit Hupperduke first before you got to Shady Creek
I
Run.
mean, when we go to the Savalier Woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we do have to go there because my fixer quest, Hope's family. We want to find Hope's family, and well, Phoebe's not
And
with
get
us
the
anymore.
fuck out
So
of the Dwendalian Empire, because we really don't need to be in the Dwendalian Empire. They're all out to get us. Well, you know,
Well, not so much anymore.
not so much, but you know, Galen, all he has to do is show his face, his real face, and everyone's going to descend on him. And the same with Squall.
I'm a drow. Wee.
Have another.
I'm giving Rowan a very stern look right now, but I'm keeping my mouth shut. My lips are in a line, just trying to bite my tongue.
Okay. Anything? You guys have hours to kill. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to go over? Now's the time.
Is the gentleman still bothered? Is still eating?
Yeah, he's
There's
at this point. At this point, he's kind of eating. He seems to be kind of relaxing from the very busy morning that he's had. He still seems to be on alert, but at this point, he's just kind of enjoying his food.
I'll wait for him to finish because I have like one question for him.
Okay. Yeah, at this point, yeah. So you've had your conversation. He seems to be pretty much done with his food. He kind of pushes his plate to the side, takes a napkin, kind of cleans off his face, his mouth, and he's holding his wine goblet in his hand. He's just kind of like sipping from it occasionally.
So I go to him and I'm like, "Can I ask you a question?"
Sure, absolutely. Your name again is
Galen.
Galen. What can I do for you, Galen?
So, you're a secret organization, yes. What's with the tattoos that would automatically, like if people know what to look for, would automatically expose that your group's still around or operating? So what's with the whole body tattoo thing? I don't get it, in my opinion.
So he takes a sip and he's just staring at you. And for a moment, you feel like he's staring through you. And he kind of takes another sip, and he sighs. Well, first off, bravo for having balls to ask me that question. Not everybody would have the gumption to just come right out and ask me about my trade secrets. So, bravo. But I'll answer that question. Normally, my people don't go walking around bare-chested and bare-assed, showing their tattoos to the world. They're normally covered up for the most part, and the parts of the tattoos that aren't covered are specifically not covered, so those who recognize them can recognize each other at a glance. Up until this point, let's just say Crown's Guard aren't exactly the brightest torches on the wall. So only their best investigators have figured out that there's something about them, but have not quite figured out what their true meaning is. I just scratched the surface for you. There's much more to them than that. And then he just kind of leans in very close to you. And as someone who carries tattoos of his own, I would probably not go around asking so much about what they mean.
I didn't ask for what they meant. I was just curious as to why bother and have that sort of a risk. That was pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of understand.
He leans back and goes, "My boy, I've made it part of my life's duty to learn how to read between the lines. I would not be in the position that I currently am if I couldn't. Just be cautious. You're not going to find many folks as generous and hospitable as myself. Anything else I can do for you?"
No, that's pretty much it. I was just curious. And so he just walks back.
Just kind of nods, and he just kind of swirls his wine and just takes another sip. Anybody else?
I'm gonna sit and meditate in the corner and take my short rest.
Okay. Yeah, anybody who would like to take their short rest, they could do so. Drina?
During my short rest, I would like to meditate and ask Melora about the ability to send messages and how can I do that? How would I do that?
Okay. So, So I would like for you to roll me a wisdom check. Not wisdom saving throw, just a wisdom check. So roll a d20, add your wisdom modifier.
Can I use a group inspo?
We've got plenty.
Go for it.
Slightly better, 13.
13. Okay. So, hold on a second. Why aren't you telling me what level it is? Sorry, I'm checking something really quick before I answer what you're doing.
Are you looking up the level for sending?
It's not sending.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's message. So you're sitting here in this room filled with the smells of stale beer and ale, sweat, and old wood. It's like basically the smells of any dive bar that you've ever been in. And you begin concentrating, trying to focus. And you try to feel a connection. And you start pushing all of these sounds, all of these smells, all of this external stimulation out of your mind. And as you do, you kind of feel yourself begin to drift slightly. And while you technically know that you are sitting in this bar, you don't feel like you're there anymore. And as you open your eyes, all around you, you can just feel darkness. And then as you feel this darkness, you feel this heat all around you. And you're trying desperately to see into this darkness. And you begin to see these two red pinpoints of light. Far, far in the distance. And as you begin to concentrate and focus on them, you realize that they're starting to get closer. And as they get closer, the heat begins to intensify. And then you start to hear the breathing. The eyes are now very, very close, almost as if they're maybe 10 feet in front of you. But the eyes are just these pinpoints of red light that are just boring into you. And based on how large they look, the face that they must be attached to is the size of your whole body. But you can't see a face. You can only see these eyes. What would you like to do?
Who are you?
As you ask this question, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
$23, not nat.
Okay. As you ask this question, you feel the heat rise around you. And you feel almost like you're going to start burning. But you don't take damage. It's just a very intense heat. And you just hear...
running. And you know who I am.
I need you to make another wisdom saving throw.
10.
This time, the heat gets so intense, you now feel as if you're starting to catch on fire. You will take... You will take 5 psychic damage. The rest of you, as you're kind of sitting there and you're watching Jarina kind of, are you like sitting on the floor? Are you sitting on a chair?
I'm sitting in a chair that is as close to a corner or column or wall.
Okay. So anybody who's paying attention to Jarina, you notice 2 things. One, there's like this small trickle of blood that is actually starting to roll down her nose. And for some reason, there's some kind of smoke that's just starting to rise from her body. Jarina, you feel the flames all around you intensely, and the eyes are just staying there, and all you can hear is just this laughter just continuing. And immediately you come to, and you still feel like you got hit by a truck. And as you looked at, there's just smoke rising from your clothes. Nothing's on fire, but smoke is rising from your clothes.
Is anybody looking at me?
I don't know. Is anybody looking at her?
Yeah,
Yes.
Galen's getting ready to find something to put out a possible fire.
My eyes are closed. I'm meditating.
Okay.
I'm leaned against the wall, kind of napping.
Do I find anything to put out a fire?
There's like lots of like mugs, like half filled with like beer and ale that people haven't finished drinking. You don't find water, but there are a couple of pitchers of ale and beer that are still on the table in front of you.
That won't. Drina, are you on fire? Please say no.
Shh. Quiet.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Oh man, I don't feel good.
Oh boy.
Can you heal yourself?
I'm gonna cast Healing Word, level 1 on myself.
Okay.
And heal myself for 4 HP.
All right. So you feel a little better. You fortunately did not get an answer, and you definitely did not get the person, the deity that you were looking for.
Did the voice sound like the voice coming from the portals?
No, definitely not. Completely different voice. You've encountered this voice before.
In my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
But not the same as the portal voice. Got it. Okay. I'm going to try to grab some ale and some food and just try to chomp down. Do I notice the blood on my nose?
Not right away until you begin eating, and then you're just like, "What's this?" And kind of look down, see it.
Oh, I just kind of wipe it on my sleeve and just continue eating. I want to look around. Is the gentleman still around? Did he notice any of that?
He's still at the table right now. He's talking with like 3 people at the table. And it's kind of drinking. He doesn't seem to, as far as you can tell, he doesn't seem to have taken notice of what's happened. And immediately, as soon as you kind of snapped out of it, the smoke did start to go away. But it was definitely visible to anybody who was staring at you while you were meditating.
Got it.
You all right, Jurina?
Yeah, I just have to eat and rest. We really need to get out of here.
I think this city is cursed. Personally.
I'm starting to think that I'm cursed.
Oh. That's not good.
Yeah. The sooner we get to the north, the better. I need to figure out what the hell I am, or what my purpose is, or whatever the fixer has answers for me for. I just need to get out of here.
Alrighty then.
All right.
So, I'm assuming. Do we tell the gentleman once we're done with our short rest, or does anybody want one of us to tell him we agree with the Humperduke request?
I think Leah should do it.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right. So Leah, you get up to go over to the gentleman. And he seems to have finished his conversation with those individuals. They kind of get up and they walk off. And you kind of sit down, and he's just kind of staring at you. So what can I do for you, my dear?
We would like to take you up on your offer and handle your business in Humperduke.
Oh, excellent. That's good. That's good news. Good to hear. Good to hear. So you'll be leaving how soon? How soon would you like to leave?
As soon as possible. We'd really like to get out of the city.
I don't blame you. It is getting kind of weird here. Yes. All right. Excellent. So just the Huppaduke job. You're not interested in the Shady Creek Run job?
It doesn't seem that our group is willing to take that risk. So we'll work with what we can.
All right. That's understandable. Understandable. All right. Well, wonderful. Excellent. So, Dweez, can you bring out the Huppaduke situation? Thank you. And about a minute later, you watch as this creepy little gnome comes out with this kind of small coffer box, and he's just like, and just puts it on the table. And he's just kind of like
the same gnome that had us all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's just kind of like standing there, and he kind of looks at Galen, and he's like, "Hi."
Hi, little molester.
I didn't touch you.
Oh, it's that guy.
I didn't touch you except to knock you out because you were being bad.
And he's just staring at you, like not even blinking. And you watch as he's staring at you, one eye just starts shifting slightly and looking to the left, but the other one is just trained right on you. And then it just moves right back, staring at you.
Yeah, fuck it. I enter the staring contest.
All right, we're going to stare contest. Okay, good. All right, so I'm gonna need you. Nah, fuck it with you. All right, so he just stares at you for a moment, and the gentleman's like, "Dweez, it's fine. Just go. It's like, and it just turns around, just kind of like walks back into the room he came out of. He's like, all right, so here you are. This is 2,500 gold pieces. This is your down payment for taking the job. And so let me give you the particulars to kind of help you on your way of what's going to happen. So once again, the contact that you're going to be looking for, his name is Myril Zirfin. Myriil. And last name Xyrphine. And again, he's an older elven gentleman. When you do find him, you will once again make sure that he understands that you are bearing many gifts. So he understands who you are. And you will find him, if he is where he should be, you should be able to find him in the... Let's see. Well, he has a residence in the Upper Huppaduke area, but his shop, you can find his shop. It is called he's not, I will say this, he's not very imaginative for someone in his line of business. It's called Myril's Metal Expertise. It's not very creative, but that's the name of his shop. I've been trying for the last couple of years that we've known each other. I've been trying to get him to change that name to the Smith. I think that would, it's like perfect. And trust me, branding is everything, right? I think it would have been more helpful to call it that. But he was completely set on metal expertise. He's just, I want people to know what I do and what I'm an expert at right away. It's like, yeah, well, obviously, but branding. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's the name of his shop. Hopefully you should find him there. If you ask around, I'm sure, like, he's, again, in a city filled with gnomes, someone who is not a gnome should be relatively easy to find. That is the hope. And again, the job is to reestablish connection with him, find out specifically why it happened, and make sure that connection is reestablished. Once you are able to do that, and whenever it is you get back to me, you successfully, you will get the rest of your money. Yes, Gray One.
Do you require us to physically come back to Zadash to inform you, or is there another contact that we can use?
I mean, you could send, however you decide to send me word that you've completed your task is completely fine with me, but if you ever want to collect the rest of your coin, you would definitely have to get here personally.
Understood.
All right. So, you sure you don't want to take that Shady Creek Run gig? Very lucrative. if not a little dangerous.
I agree. I can't seem to convince my party.
That's fine. That's fine. I will say that I am very happy that you did decide to take me up on at least one of the offers. Little disappointed that you're not taking the Shady Creek one, but I understand. Again, as I said, you're under no obligation to me anymore.
May I ask if Meryl is dead? What is the next course of action?
Oh, you need to find someone that can do what he did for me.
Okay.
And reestablish my supply line. That's what I mean by make sure the connections are reestablished.
Okay. So we don't know what that supply line is. So we would be assuming that somebody took over his operations.
I don't know, but here, I'll show you. And he just he waves down one of the individuals on the top. And they kind of come down the spiral staircase. And as they do, he kind of holds his hand out, and they immediately put that weapon that they were pointing at all of you in his hand. And he just kind of like shows it to you. He doesn't hand it to you, but he just kind of shows it to you. So this is an interesting little weapon. They're calling it a firearm. This specifically is, I think they call this a rifle. And they've only been in production for the last almost 15 years. And the Dwendalian Empire only got their hands on it about 5 years ago. Actually, no, if I remember correctly, about 10 years ago. And they're starting to refine their production. They're making it little, like, it doesn't work all the time. It works when it should, but sometimes it just misfires. It doesn't work. But they've been getting better and better at them.
What does it do? Does it shoot darts?
He kind of looks at you, and then deftly with one hand waves it around, points it at the head of the witch, the blood witch, and pulls the trigger. And as he pulls the trigger, there's a loud almost deafens all of you, and you just watch the head explode. And he just kind of you see like smoke kind of pouring out of the front of it, and he just kind of takes it and he hands it back to the person that took it. They take it back and go back upstairs.
That's not magical.
Oh no.
The Dwendalian Empire has this weapon?
Oh, well, they've been making lots of interesting things for the war, and I just so happened to know the right people, Miro being one of them, and I got my hands on some, and he's been very, very good to me about getting me the designs and getting upgraded weapons, and as they keep getting better for the Empire, they get better for me. But that supply has disappeared, and I don't like it. Because it's not just the actual weapons themselves. They use ammunition. I need black powder as well, and again, Miro takes care of all of that for me. And it stopped, and I want it back.
Understood.
So, as you would expect, it's if Miro's around and able to do this, and you figure out whatever the issue was and solve it, and get things going again, then it shouldn't be too difficult. But if Miro, as you so succinctly put it, is dead, or out of the picture in some way, the job is not complete until you find a way to re-establish some kind of supply line where I get what I want.
Okay.
Is that clear enough for all of you?
Yes.
Crystal.
Yes.
Any other questions? All right, excellent. So, yes, so I would say if you require any more rest, please take some rest. And when you are ready to go, let me know. We will be smuggling you out of the city. You will be blindfolded for all of our protection as you are taken out of the city. But once you are out of the city proper, you'll be put on the correct road, which you need to get to Hupperduke, and take it from there.
While we're finishing our rest, I would want to ask a small favor. I'd like to conjure my familiar, which would require doing magic in your protected area. Is that acceptable?
He kind of thinks thinks it over for a second. Sure, just don't make too much of a mess and try not to get in the way.
No problem. Thank you.
Anything else?
I have one more question about the job.
Yes, please.
Should Meryl be dead or unwilling to reconnect, if we cannot find somebody else to supply, how would you like us to approach that?
You need to find someone who will supply. That's the job.
What if nobody else knows how to make the components or ammunition or black powder?
Myrrell wasn't the only one working on this. He was part of a team of people. He's just the one that I happened to connect with. Now, possibly, I know that he's taken on apprentices. I know that he's worked with other people. I mean, those are probably good places to start if he's unavailable or unable to continue. But as I said, money does grease the palms and may help you in that sense. So, and I just gave you a good portion of money for yourselves, but that might help you in your endeavor as well. So just be creative. But one way or another, by accepting this job, you are accepting that you will do it and get it done. And that's what I expect.
Understood.
All right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Well, just let me know when you're ready to go and we'll get you out of the city.
Galen looks at the exploded head and he like stops and looks at it and he's like, I bet I can catch that.
Do you say that out loud or you just think it?
Not like extremely loud, but I kind of say it like in
Under
a
your
very
breath?
casual voice. Yeah.
As the rest of you are beginning to kind of walk back to your table, and you say that, Galen, and you turn around, you hear the gentleman say, I would love to see that.
I didn't earn the triple D's for no reason.
Maybe one of these days you'll show me how you catch the ammunition of one of these rifles. That would be interesting. Just turns around, just continues to kind of drink his wine.
Yeah, like there's like this long stare, and we both like go right back to normal.
All right. So as you continue, some of you continue to take your rests, and you're not getting a long rest unless you'd like to take one. No long rest? Just a short one?
Not yet.
I vote no.
I already took my short rest.
Does everybody feel the same, or do they want a long rest? It's a voting.
We can rest outside the city limits. I don't want to chance
just
it
get out of here.
anymore.
Okay. Yeah, short rest and bounce.
All right. So as you kind of take your short rest, and you let the gentleman know that you're ready to go. He goes, all right, excellent. And he kind of pulls out this small map. He kind of spreads it on the table slightly. And he looks at it and he goes, all right, so what's going to happen? You're going to go through one of our little smuggling areas that we use when we don't want to be seen. But specifically the one that we use to go out of the city. Once it's going to leave you off. Has anybody here ever been to Barrow Bend? All right. Well, it's a pretty nasty area. It's a swamp area. There's an actual Barrow Bend is an actual small town ish in this swamp. It is part of the Empire technically. But it is. I'll put it to you this way: it's a good place to disappear, but it is also pretty nasty. But this is where we'll drop you off there. And from that point on, you could follow your way out from there, make your way to the gravelway path, which should take you straight to Hupperdook. But all in all, you'll get to Barrow Bend probably in about 2 or 3 days. And then from Barrow Bend, depending on when you leave Barrow Bend, it'd be another week or two to get to Hupperdook.
And you're taking us all the way to Barrel Bend? Is that what you're saying?
One of my people will be taking you. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well, taking you outside of Zadash, leaving you on the road to get to Barrow Bend.
That's what I was wondering. Yes.
He's not taking you all the way there. That's a trip. That's a trip and a half. And I need all my people here.
Understood.
Out of game, is Barrow Bend the area where Squall's, where the people who are looking for Squall are bringing him, or am I thinking of a different town?
Most of that most of that I was like, I don't even know where you're getting all that from.
No, because remember there was like the wanted thing with Squall's description, and they said that it had to go to a town.
It's from a dynasty, though, right? The dynasty was sending those people after him.
One of you has the notes that you found on those people. I cannot be your note taker. I gave you notes for reasons.
Okay. No, I was just asking if that was... Okay, never mind then.
Okay. Well, Barrel Bend doesn't sound familiar, but if you want to check, you'd have to take a look at those notes that you found.
Okay. I'm not gonna roll then.
Okay. All right. So with that, after the gentleman kind of tells you, what it looks like, and how you would get there, you begin to kind of prepare yourselves and steel yourselves for this journey coming up. And that's what we're going to call it for the evening.
Good game.
Good game, everybody.
GG's.
All right. So, made a little money, got a little job, take some psychic damage, learn that there's firearms. It's like a full game of, even though it was just RP.
Laura's thinking
Nosebleeds.
about getting one of those firearms.
What's that?
Sora's thinking about possibly acquiring a firearm.
That would be interesting. It's like what was that movie? Like Hobo with a shotgun and be a wizard with a rifle, right?
Wizard with a magic rifle.
Sora the gunslinger.
Yeah. So, all right. So with that, that was a great game, everybody. Good job. That was fun. All right, we had a lot of love this evening. I want to do some shout outs. Daddy Chaos, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for bringing your family and your folks here, your community here. Appreciate you. I Clutch Cheeks. That name always makes me laugh. Thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate you also. And Hey Yo Froggy, thank you for following. I love that. I love these names. I love all of these names. This is great. So thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. And thank you everyone who is watching. Thank you so much for the support and being here while we're playing our ridiculously fun game. Can't wait to see where this goes now that our group is leaving. And listen, you guys got to come up with a name. Like seriously, like hey you guys and all this other stuff. Come up with something. Like
I think we may have come up with something just because of the interaction with the gentleman, but we're gonna refine it.
Okay, yeah,
first.
just that's fine. Workshop
Leo
it.
had an idea too.
Yeah, workshop it, and when the time is right, like let me have it in game, right? Just so don't spoil the surprise. But you guys definitely need a name because this is like it's like and you like what do I call you? And you you gotta come up with something. All right, so but again, and thank you to my wonderful players. Thank you so much. Amazing. Without you, we don't have a game. So thank you so much. Thank you to my mods. Love you guys.
Love you too.
And thank you to my patrons on Patreon. Thank you to everybody who's just supporting all of the craziness that goes on this channel. Thank you so much. We really, really do appreciate it. So once again, as a reminder, we will not be streaming next Thursday. We will be back the following week. You can join me tomorrow for Magic the Gathering Arena. I am doing that at 8 p.m. I try to do that every Friday. You can come watch me play some janky decks, get my ass kicked, use funny voices. It's a blast. We get to play the new set that just dropped, Kama Lama Ding Dong. I don't even remember how you say it, but yeah, it's Kama Hama whatever. We'll figure it out by tomorrow. I should know how to pronounce it. But we're gonna be playing all of that craziness tomorrow. So if you want to join me tomorrow at 8 p.m., just chill out and talk with me, play some arena, ask me some questions, come join. It's always a lot of fun. But with that, we're gonna raid as we end. We always raid off to somebody. Please show that person love if you can. If you're not following them, please throw them a follow. Say hello in chat if you're so inclined. But at the very least, if all you want to do is lurk and listen and watch what's going on, that is the core of support here on Twitch, and that is appreciated like you don't even know. So whatever love you can throw at the person that we raid, please do so. And so with that, remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We love you all very much, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Night.
Night.